I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. This, of course. Why this far into the program would things run smoothly? Who knows? They wouldn't. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 482nd episode of the Political Spotlight. I'm your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey. Welcome. Thank you for being here, giving us a little bit of your time. Whether you're watching live or via replay in the future, we thank you for being here. If you could please consider smashing that like button, that would be so fantastic. It's just going to be one of those nights where we deal with gremlins, and there's nothing I can do. I was all set up to be here early, and then the computers were doing what the computers do. So I apologize for that. I'm going to have to watch it here and monitor it and see what goes on. So maybe don't smash that like button. You can hold it and decide. You can hold off till the end. You don't have to hit it yet. But if you want to communicate with us and you're watching live, you got a comment over here on the right-hand side. If you're watching in the future via replay, you comment down below. You should know that by now. If you don't, I don't know what you're doing here. Welcome everybody that's here. Let's see. Glenda, Kid Rock, Catherine, Les Cloud, Chris Bunner. Jack's here. Joe is here. Wah wah. Joe's dentist was voted dentist of the year. They didn't give him a trophy. They just gave him a little plaque. Hey-o. Everybody, we had a thing that occurred over the weekend. Did you guys do any of that? Hello, Sarge. Did anybody go do anything over the weekend? Did you celebrate the 4th in any way, Independence Day? Did you shoot off any fireworks? Did you go watch any fireworks being shot off? Did you blow off any hands or thumbs or singe your eyebrows or anything like that? That's the fun. Did you do any of that? I went and watched the fireworks, and I feel like I can do one of two things. I can lie to you and be like nice and polite and tell you it was a wonderful time, it was fantastic. Or I can be honest with you and people will be like, "Oh, you're being unpatriotic." That's got nothing to do with politics or being patriotic. It's my city. The people in charge are spending more money on other nonsensical things, and they are not spending money on fireworks, which some people would be like, well, that's nonsensical too, because you just blow it up in the end, but it is what it is. Maybe people need that. This year's fireworks in Muncie, now, in all fairness, I did not go watch the fireworks at the reservoir. I did not do that. I did go watch the city of Muncie's. Tammy, hey, I will get a hold of you tomorrow, Tammy. I just recently saw that you messaged me. Somehow it got hidden, and I will message you tomorrow, Tammy. So if you don't hear from me, tomorrow's going to be a busy day. If you don't hear from me by like 2 or 3 tomorrow, shoot me a message or a text. I will try to remember, but if you don't hear from me by like 2 or 3, you text me. But I just saw that you messaged me a while back, but it got hid. My apologies. It just gets pushed down the line. But Tammy says that she went and watched Muncie fireworks and Hartford City fireworks. And Hartford City's was so much better. I have, for the last couple of years, went to watch Muncie's. And about 5 years ago, for those of you that are familiar with the layout of the city of Muncie, about 5 years ago, I watched the fireworks, the city of Muncie's fireworks from Gaddis Chrysler's dealership. You can sit there and see them beautifully, and everybody from the dealership that worked there, we all got together and watched them there. And I watched them there for several years in a row. And then in about 2020, my grandparents go and sit in this little parking lot down in downtown Muncie, and there's a pretty good view there. And I went and watched the fireworks for the last couple of years, 2 or 3 years there. And last year's fireworks were pretty decent in Muncie. But this year, like 5 minutes into it, I was like, okay, I'm ready to go home. Like, this is just not doing it for me. The music that WLBC was playing, it didn't seem like it synced up in any way. And it was just like, in the long run, it was like 15 minutes. It was like 15 minutes worth of it. And like, look, I know I'm kind of like, people are like, it was cool. It was good. It was, things went up in the sky. They were different colors. They went boom. But it just seems like, for being a city the size of Muncie and the amount of money that comes and goes, you would figure that we would have a pretty decent show. Given the fact that it was just a month ago that a couple, well, more than a couple, like several, 10 different companies or so, came to the Delaware County Fairground in the city of Muncie and did this like class where they learned to like do it safely and launch them, and they shoot off fireworks for like 3 or 4 days. And so it was It's not Dan's deal. Dan doesn't care. It's clear he does not care about things like this. He would much rather spend money on nonsensical projects that have a great big fanfare at the beginning, but then never really lead to anything. So that's what that is. I'm going to have to go back and see how much we spent on the fireworks this year for this year's show compared to what we spent in years past. I heard that the fireworks at the reservoir were nice. Like people liked them. The reservoir always does a pretty good job. I can't say anything negative about that, but I did not watch them. So happy 4th of July. 4th of July is over. Can you believe it? I mean, just since June 1st, just since June 21st, rather, the equinox, you can already tell how much daylight we are losing. And it's sad. Like total depression setting in. I already need like extra whatever the vitamin the sun is. I need more of it. I need like sun lamps. So, all right. Well, happy 4th of July. The next big celebration is, of course, my birthday at the end of the month. So keep that in mind. Glad it's over, though. I'm not a holiday kind of guy. I'm a huge fan of regular days. Yeah, me too. I like regular days. I like regular days. I just don't like when shit's shut down. I'm like everything. If you're in stores, if you're a business, you should be open all the time. Shut up, Catherine. So besides the big celebrations, Indianapolis had amazing fireworks. Their fireworks were wonderful. They did a great job with their celebration. Their celebration did wonderful. And I heard that their fireworks was close to like 45 minutes, closer to maybe an hour. A complete hour of fireworks. That is insane. But it wasn't until the celebration, after the celebration, that things really got heated. Things really went crazy. They really went crazy. After the fireworks display that the city of Indianapolis, which is our capital city, mind you, put on, total insanity went on in downtown Indianapolis. And I want to let you hear directly from the police chief and a deputy police chief from Indianapolis and let you hear. And I want you to watch this guy's face. You're going to hear from a woman that's a deputy chief, and then you're going to hear from Bailey. Bailey's the chief, Chief Bailey. And I want you to watch his face and look at his eyes. He is going through all of the emotions in this presser. Every emotion. He is sad. He is mad. hurt. I want you to watch. I want you to watch. Watch this. This is nuts. Get this going.
Terry, and I'm the Deputy Chief of Operations for IMPD. As always, this information I'm about to share with you is preliminary and subject to change. Before I get to the incident, let me say that my thoughts are with everyone that was impacted by this incidents of violence out here tonight, including the victims, their families, and the first responders that were managing this chaotic scene and rendering aid. Here's what we know so far. At approximately 1:27 a.m., officers were investigating a disturbance at Washington and Meridian Street. They were notified of another disturbance down the street at Illinois and Washington Street. As officers were approaching that second disturbance, they heard shots fired, and as they arrived on the scene, they encountered several people suffering from apparent gunshot wounds. Officers and IEMS medics who were embedded with our officers immediately began rendering aid to the victims that they were encountering. They also called for several additional ambulances. In total, we had 5 victims transported away from the scene to area hospitals for treatment. A 6th victim was pronounced dead on the scene. A 7th victim walked into an area hospital and is in stable condition. 3 of those victims are juveniles and 3 are adults. We do not know the identity or the age of the victim that was pronounced dead at the scene.
We do not know. We know now.
The victim who died at the hospital was a juvenile. We have also recovered several firearms at the scene. We do not yet know whether those firearms were involved in this incident. Our detectives will work to determine that. And we have multiple people, about 7 people detained for further investigation. We also don't know their involvement at this point in time. The investigation is early. I think that's the very brief facts that we have at this time. At this point, I'll turn it over to Chief Bailey.
Chris Bailey, Chief of Police for the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department.
Now, this is Chris Bailey and Tweety Bird. I love it. I didn't know how you would respond to this, but I absolutely agree with you, ma'am, and we will talk about that in just a moment. Bailey talks about this here in just a moment. I want you to listen to this because listen, as Indy goes, so goes the rest of the state. And Indy has been in a really bad situation since COVID, and really before, but it really started taking a nosedive at COVID, and we will talk about that here in a moment. But let's listen to what Chief Chris Bailey has to say here. I know this man. He's a good cop. He's good at what he does, and you can see it on this dude's face.
I'll just add on a little bit to what she said about our thoughts and prayers for the victims here tonight, their families, and the long road ahead for all of them as we try to uncover exactly what and why this all happened tonight. This kind of violence, whether downtown or any of our neighborhoods, is completely unacceptable and unnecessary. Unnecessary. Thousands of people came downtown tonight, enjoyed the fireworks, and went home. Thousands more chose to come down here and all night cause trouble. I was down here until about 12:30 tonight. I worked with my officers took the runs with them, dealt with the disturbances, dealt with the utter disrespect for our city, for our laws, and for law enforcement. Hundreds of unsupervised kids down here. I don't know how many times I have to say it. We are not your children's keepers. You are. And parents and guardians have got to step up. A kid is dead tonight. And we just don't know the age of the young man down the street, still here, dead. He looks young. It's unacceptable. The police department all night long went from place to place to place. And I gotta be honest, I'm tired of it. You should be tired of it. This is not our job to do this. It is unnecessary. You don't have to act like this. Our officers, half a block away from when before this shooting started, dealing with another group of individuals fighting. We made almost, probably, well, we're still tallying them, about 20 arrests tonight. Recovered guns that I know of before this happened from 2 kids. One of them was an assault rifle stuffed in the front of his pants. I'm not sure anymore what it's going to take for some in our community to wake up. I've said it. This is where the kids are. This is where they are on Friday and Saturday nights. If you want to engage them, if you want to help them, you want to prevent some of this violence, this is where they are. Here, they're here. Come down. I invite all of those who think that I'm exaggerating this or that I'm saying just because it's downtown. No, nowhere else in the city is this concentration of people in one small area, less than a half a mile. Come down and see for yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. You can see them being dropped off by their parents, 5 or 6 at a time out of the car. You can see them jump out of Ubers and Lyfts. And you can see them jumping off the buses that they ride down, that they miss and then linger around downtown. Heck, look to your left. You're still going to see some people that probably shouldn't be out here right now lingering. Not going to bars, not going to restaurants, didn't come down here to see the fireworks, shooting fireworks off at our community from the top of parking garages. Unnecessary. Any questions?
Is it going to take other city departments to step up?
No, see, we keep going back to what's the government going to do? What's the city going to do? The city's invested in this. Millions of dollars the city, taxpayers pay for police overtime to staff this 1 square mile area.
Oh,
this
press conference was like 3 o'clock in the morning. This is happening. This is happening at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's happening at 3 o'clock in the morning. So that's what's going on here.
Cops down here between state police and Capitol Police and IMPD and other police department agencies. Yes, we're going to keep doing our job.
Listen to what he says
the city
here,
of Indianapolis government, the police department is going to continue to do our job. We're not going to solve this. Not just by the police. We made 20 arrests tonight.
No, it's not happening in real time. Real time, it's 9:30 p.m. Sunday, July 6th. This happened. This was Saturday morning at like 3:30 in the morning. Hey, Cindy, we're always on Sundays through Thursdays. That's the second time I've seen you say you haven't got your notifications. So here's what you need to do. Here's what you need to do. Catherine, I don't know, dude, if something is wrong with you or if it's a joke at this point or what you're doing. I've told you 3 times, as well as they've said it. I just think you're not listening now. Listen to me. He's doing this talking when you're seeing him is happening in the early morning of Saturday, like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, Saturday the 5th. I've said that like 3 times. I don't understand what you're doing. I guess I'm not following. What are you asking? What are you asking, Catherine? You're asking when this was happening? If you're asking when this press conference was happening, it is early morning hours of Saturday the 5th. Well, it's happening at real time there, but real time now, as we're speaking, is 9:32 p.m. Eastern on Sunday the 6th. So no, it's definitely a few hours old. Let me get back to this question here. Someone said, oh no, I need to say this, Cindy. If you're not getting notifications, what you need to do is you need to click out. You need to unsubscribe, totally unsubscribe, and then resubscribe and click the bell again. And you that should set that problem straight, because that's the second time I've seen you say that. So do that. And that'll take care of that. Here we go.
Hi.
Bailey, you're a dad.
Yeah.
What would you say to those parents out there?
I don't understand it. I know where my kids are at all time. So maybe that's, maybe I shouldn't be that way. 16-year-old daughter. I cannot imagine letting her roam around down here tonight like she was, like kids were. Unattended, unsupervised, nothing to do.
Somebody later asked him about that. I think that was a slip. I don't think he meant his daughter was roaming around down here. I think he means like, I couldn't imagine if she was down here. What he meant to say was like they were. He said like she was, and then he quickly cleared that up. I don't think his daughter was roaming around down there. I got to stop here and say this. He talks about Ryan Mears here in a minute, the prosecutor in Marion County. And there is a serious issue between the police department and what goes on in the police department and what goes on in the prosecutor's office. But I have to say this. So I don't know who's watching, but I know a large chunk of you that are watching, just that are commenting right here, I guess I should say. I don't know all of you that are watching, but the people that are currently commenting, you're all my age or older, and we have to think about things differently. Obviously, life was different. Things were different when I was younger. When you were younger, things were different. First of all, we were pretty good kids on the whole of it. We were pretty good kids. Some of my friends smoked pot. Some of them drank, did all of this. I was always the DD. I always was the guy that was making sure people were getting places safely, back and forth. But on the whole of it, we were pretty good. Yeah, we snuck around and did things, and we were out late at night, but we were not in areas where bad things could happen late at night. We would go for a drive out in the country. The worst thing that would happen is we'd run out of gas or a tire would go flat. And we were like, oh shit, now we're in trouble. And we'd have to figure out a way to resolve that issue without having to like get a parent involved. Something like that. Here's what we wouldn't do. We never went places as juveniles with guns. I'm a big supporter of guns. I'm a big supporter of weapons. But what that means is contrary, and I guarantee you there's people on here, Tweety Bird's probably one of them, that says, oh God, guns, it's the guns that are doing it. When I say I am pro-gun, what that means is I am pro-intelligent and safe gun usage and gun laws. All right? I've got all kinds of guns that could do all kinds of damage. Not one of my guns shot anybody this weekend. And I certainly didn't have those guns when I was 16 years old. I certainly didn't have any of those guns when I was 18 or 19 even. So I think that's an issue. And you have to look at what's going on there. And you have to look at where these kids are going in these large groups, why they're going into these large groups. Downtown Indianapolis at 1 o'clock in the morning, there are no businesses open at that place that does business with minors. And so I think that that's probably one of the biggest issues that are, why are all of these juveniles, see, because I saw Jack up there earlier kind of trying to cut down on the cop as he was saying, like, you know, there are still basically juveniles here lingering. You notice he's not talking about adults. We're not talking about adults. There's a difference with an adult who is in public doing something, going from an establishment to an establishment. There's nothing wrong with that. What the issue is are the large gatherings of children, juveniles, 14, 15, 16-year-olds, and then the 17 and 18 and 19-year-olds who are also buddies with a couple of the 20-year-olds or 21-year-olds, and they're all mixing, and they're mixing in a really bad way. A 14-year-old has no business hanging around at 2 o'clock in the morning with an 18-year-old. And that's Steve Moon. That's exactly the issue. They, the parents have, and he talks about that here in just a moment. He brings up the fact that he believes, or he wants to try to put pressure on Mears' office, Ryan Mears, the prosecutor for Marion County, to try and look into going after these parents who are allowing this to happen. So that's exactly right. Yeah. So we'll go back to this here. This is almost over.
Some of these individuals that were shot could have been very well not engaged in any kind of disturbance whatsoever. But it just caught up in a crossfire. Nearly down here, enjoying ice cream, or maybe they were down here for the fireworks, or wanted to see what's going on in the circle and got caught up in whatever's happening. But look, nothing good happens after midnight. Some of these kids should not have been out here. Period. They missed the bus going back. With some of the stories that we heard, one of our officers prevented two young girls from getting into a stranger's car because they missed the bus to go back home. Wait, you have no ability to call your parents? Your parents wouldn't come pick you up if you missed the bus? There is a problem. There is a problem. It's not going to be solved by the police. It's our job to try to keep people safe, and they did it tonight. I watched it with my own eyes. I helped do some of it. They did all the work. They ran toward the gunfire down here as they were working another fight. They're all in. They're all in. So when I hear people say, oh, we're just worried about minor things in downtown Indianapolis. No, minor things turn into big things. The amount of guns that I saw tonight on people roaming around here with nothing else to do. We can't do anything about it. Like, unless you're a kid, there's nothing, unless you're doing something with the gun or doing something illegal. We can't go up and ask you what you're doing with the gun. That turns into bad things, especially when there's fights or when there's alcohol or there's weed induced.
So can you confirm it was one juvenile and then one adult was dead?
We know for sure that there is one dead kid. The other one, dead individual, we're still. There's been nothing that occurred to make any kind of positive ID on that.
No, Jack, you can't have a gun as a 16-year-old. You know that. That's different than what Al was talking about as far as like the hunting rifle of the kid that's going to school in the county school. This is downtown Indianapolis. They are an hour away from anywhere with a hunting blind, or none of these kids are driving around with trucks with shotguns in the back. That's not the same thing. But yeah, no, 16-year-olds. I don't know where you are from. You've ever said, but where we come from, normally 16-year-olds are not walking around with handguns. That's generally not happening.
Thing.
Sure, bro. I'm with you 100%. But you and I are adults. We're not children.
The next day or so, all the arrests, what they were for. We're going to give you pictures of the guns that we took from these kids, and we'll share more details about what happened here. And this could have very well happened in any neighborhood, but this is where the kids were. And I've told you this is where the kids were. This is where the kids are. I've told everyone this.
Message tonight to the ones who come downtown, because unfortunately this is the second weekend we've had mass situations here downtown with kids. Message to these kids of
this is the second weekend. This has been going on for years, except now a lot of these, I want to use my words carefully, a lot of these kids have guns. And we know some of the indicators, right? Backpacks on backwards. Some of them are wearing masks and other things where they can easily disguise themselves because there's cameras everywhere. They did it right under a camera tonight. We made those arrests in the Canal shooting and the one at 30 South Meridian Street. Technology helped us do that.
That's right.
We're going to use technology again. We're going to find out who did it, and we're going to hold them accountable. And if I can convince the prosecutor to hold parents accountable, I'm going to do that too. I don't know that I can because there's a set of rules, and why I may see the rules differently than the prosecutor because the prosecutor has to prosecute them. But I'm going to seek some kind of accountability to parents. There has to be more than just what are the police doing.
That'll be our final question. Thank you all.
Thank you.
So immediately they kicked in the next day, and they had about an hour and a half long press conference the next day as well. And of course they had the mayor there. They had a couple deputy mayors there. They had the clergy, they had the police chief, and the mayor did his thing. And here's the first thing that everybody does. Here's the first thing that everybody does is they immediately start pointing fingers. Oh, look, it's a Democrat mayor and a Democrat council. They're at fault. The Republicans aren't saying anything. It's their fault. This is not a Democrat or Republican or police issue. This is not specifically a gun issue. This is a parental children, adult supervisor, if it's not a mom and dad, if it's an aunt or uncle or grandma or grandpa or whatever, it is a cultural issue. And before everyone starts going, oh my God, he's talking about black people. No. It is a cultural, meaning here in Indianapolis, at the center of Indianapolis, the white kids, the black kids, the Hispanic kids, the Chinese kids, all of the youth that's involved with this. It's the culture as a whole. It is where we are in the world today. It is not, we have a really ignorant Democrat mayor in charge of Indianapolis. And we have lots and lots and lots of ignorant Democrat council members. We have 6 ignorant Republican council members. We have a completely ignorant Republican party in Marion County that's got their thumbs up their ass and aren't doing anything. The whole lot of them suck all together. Throw them all in one pot. They all suck. But this is a parenting issue. It goes back to what Tweety Bird was talking about, having fear and respect for, as a child, of the parent, of your teacher, your preacher, the policeman, a fireman. Respect. You know, still to this day, as an adult, with my dad gone and having a mother and a stepfather and 2 grandparents, 3 grandparents, 4, I guess. I always forget that one. Anyways, the biggest thing for me is I don't want to disappoint my mother, my stepfather. I don't want to disappoint my grandparents. I don't want to disappoint my mom's dad or my stepdad's dad. I don't want to disappoint those people. Definitely didn't want to disappoint them when I was younger. And I would rather them be mad at me than like disappointed. And it was that I don't understand. I guess I don't understand what you mean, Jack. So for a second, instead of just spouting off opposite sides of your argument, so explain how I don't know if you're a parent. You don't ever tell much information about yourself. You've got a lot of wonderful shit to say about me and a lot of other things and my thoughts. So for once, instead of just spouting off bullshit, why don't you come off the nonsense and explain what in the hell it is you're talking about? Instead of saying, we pay him for safety, be a fearful slave, say actual words and say what it is you mean. So if this was your child laying dead, God forbid, or your child that wanted to go out here and you were trying to stop it, my question to you is, how do you stop something like this? How do you protect from this happening? The police are out here doing, I don't know what you think they're not doing, but my question is, when we're seeing this is the second weekend of total insanity in Indianapolis. It's about 5 years. And as somebody said, it's really been going on, and Indianapolis has been swinging down since about 1980s. So how do you, someone who says the politicians aren't the people, I was out all day and all night, guns are the issue, what do you say about this? Do we keep kids in? Do we let them run? Are we supposed to be policing our own kids, or are the police supposed to be protecting them? What is your answer? What's your answer? If I'm not getting it right and the police aren't getting it right, what is your answer to this? I would really, truly be interested to know, because I know what you don't believe in, because I hear it a lot, but I would like to know what you do believe in. I would be interested in knowing that. I would be interested in knowing what values that you're believing in that keeps you and anyone that's in your circle safe. Safety's not fun. Freedom is scary. Absolutely, 100%. That's why I don't stop it from letting me go there. I'm in charge of my safety. We're talking about children. See, what I think that you don't understand here is, so wait a minute. Who you want who to lock them up there? Lock them up. You want the pigs to do that? You want the pigs to put the kids in jail. But then would we bitch about that then? Would we be like, wait a minute, those pigs, what are those pigs doing? Those damn pigs, look at them doing that to the kids. First of all, you can't lock kids up. You can't. Whoa, that's crazy talk from somebody that has been a pretty hardcore libertarian, almost to the point of anarchist. The law is the law. Well, let me explain to you what the law is. Let me explain to you what the law is. The law is kids don't go to jail for, what do you want them to go to jail for? What in this situation? You know what happened? Damn it, hold on. We're lagging. Hold on. They said they made 20 arrests. So, right, y'all vote for the law, I don't. So what does that mean? So what do you believe in? What takes care of it? So if you're outside of the law, how does this stop? I mean, are you a tree person? Are you not in society? Are you completely outside of society? You don't pay taxes, you don't drive a car, you're not on a roadway, you don't engage, you don't live in a home. Or are you in some sort, like, what part of society are you in? What part of society do you participate in? That's I don't get it. So, first and foremost, they can't lock kids up for curfew is a status violation. You can't lock kids up for that. Right. Okay. You pay so you're like everybody else. You pay taxes and don't like it, just like the rest of us. All right, we're all there. I get that. So we are part of the same society. And you don't vote, but you are paying into a system that you don't engage in. So the issue here is, yep. And so what that means is there's nothing that allows the police, and he doesn't say it in that presser, but he says it the next day. There's nothing that allows them to take these kids off the street if they're there past a curfew. If they are there past a curfew, essentially what happens is they can write a ticket, they can go to some kind of bullcrap court. And here's what happened ahead of the shooting. They were standing under a camera. I think he says it at some point later on, or maybe he says it the next day. They were standing under a camera, and for no reason whatsoever, or at least a reason they don't currently have, a kid pulls out a gun and just starts spraying into the crowd. So at that point, now we've got something different. Now we've got some. Hey, see ya, Alva. Now we've got something different. Now this kid's open fire spraying, that's different. Now that kid, even being a juvenile, can be taken and detained. So, all right, we've got that. The question is, what do we do to try and prevent that from happening? I didn't see anybody crying. I mean, parents are crying, and I think, but it was you also saying it's their duty. I think the responsibility is to try to stop this, because you, or me, we choose to do what we do. We We could be going down to get a cup of coffee and be killed in a car crash. So, like you said, freedom is scary. And I live life understanding that. I fully get that. But trying to allow people to engage in quote unquote polite society, the point is, how do we do this? Because that's the other aspect here. That's the other issue, is we have a city government that's still jumping up and down, yelling from the rafters that Indianapolis is safe. Come down to the circle. It's safe. Come out into the evening nightlife. It is safe down here. Yet we're killing 2 or 3 people a weekend on the circle and shooting and hurting tens of 20s of 30s of hundreds of more throughout the year, because they're hurt, they're shot in the elbow, or they're shot in the ankle, or they get hit with shrapnel. I'm not institutionalized. I walk around and have no issue. I carry a gun. I protect myself, and I live through life knowing that shit is dangerous. It's the world we live in. But I still feel as if there is, or should be, at least a limited understanding that you should be able to park your car on a street and walk into a restaurant without having to bob and weave. And I feel like that's, I don't know, that's a question that doesn't make me institutionalized. Sarge. Let's see here. What else? We missed some. Parents need accountability as well in situations like this. You know your kid best, and if you don't, then that's a problem. That is very true. I don't understand what you mean. That's just an easy way. Tweety Bird saying, Tweety Bird and Megan's not understand the backwards backpack. It's just, it makes it an easy way to hide a gun. What do you mean? If I have a pistol, I can easily carry it concealed in my pants under my shirt, not a problem. Or women can carry it in a purse. There are like fanny pack carriers for guns. I've seen there are people that carry guns in backpacks. If you got a backpack on your back with a gun in it, it takes a little bit of time to get to it, but you spin that backpack around and you've got a zipper right here you can pull down and access your gun. It's just an easier way to to hide a gun and access a gun. And what he's talking about is this is something that people are starting to see more of, these younger juveniles and older folks, specifically younger juveniles and older folks involved in criminal and gang activity, who are carrying backpacks the wrong way, essentially. So instead of on their back, they put the thing through and they've got the backpack here, and they're using it to conceal a gun. So that's what they're doing there, essentially. So that's what's going on there. And the thing is, one of the things he said was they pulled an assault. I hate that he used that term. They pulled an assault rifle, out of a kid's pants. And he's like, it was in the pants, so if that kid had been smarter, he could have had that You can have an assault rifle broke down into a section this big with a stock that folds out and so it's pretty easy to conceal that in even a full-size book bag. Not a full-size book bag. Yeah, EJAC, like EJAC, I carry constantly. So, but my whole thing is what you're going to see and what's going to come from this. And it's already coming from this. You're hearing this all over the indie channels, any of the political sides, any of the political commentary from Indianapolis going into the first of next week. You're going to hear everybody screaming about how this is the Democrats' fault. It's the Republicans' fault. It's all of their fault. They're all at fault here. Every single one of them. They're all at fault. The parents are at fault. Someone is going to have to step up and say, we're putting this on the parents. And I feel like Chris Bailey was doing a good job of that. But he needs more of a backbone. There needs to be Marion County needs a better prosecutor than Ryan Mears. I'm hearing that Ryan Mears is possibly going to primary Hogsett for mayor. That would be a disaster. It's crazy because it's like anybody but Hogsett, unless it's Ryan Mears, because then Ryan Mears would actually be worse than Hogsett. So that's not a good thing. But we do need Ryan Mears out of the prosecutor's office. So I'm just saying there's far more people I'm ready to blame first than the Republicans or the Democrats. But then by the time we get to them, they all own it. Everybody, all of them. I think they've already done that. I think they've already done that. Let's see here. I was just looking at a friend of mine who made a post about that earlier. Let's see here. Where is that damn dude? I know I just saw that. Well, whatever. Anyways, I know I saw someone made a comment about that a little bit ago, and I was like, that's some crazy stuff. Anyways, that kind of then brings into the next thing I wanted to talk about. Well, before we get there, I want to wait a minute, let me see this. What are you saying here? Okay, I was looking at what Meg was saying and what the cat was saying. To charge the parents, wouldn't the government have to prove the new law to enforce that? Probably so, Carrie. I mean, there would have to be something. That's what Chris Bailey went on later and was talking about, like needing to talk to the prosecutor's office about to see, what would be there. But I don't currently think that there's anything there that would allow them to. Anything else that would be there would be ordinance or status violations. It's not anything that you're going to be able to do anything with it. Okay. Really quickly, moving on. In the city of Muncie, I want to talk about the things that are coming up this week. This is basically the first real week. I haven't changed that calendar yet. I don't know, Megan. We'd have to talk about that. We'd have to have some serious discussions between now and then. Okay. This is going to be the first real week going in to the month. Last week didn't count. So tomorrow's the first real Monday, which means Delaware County and Randolph County commissioners both meet at 9 a.m. Grant County commissioners meet at 10 a.m. Newcastle City Council meets at 6:30. The Muncie City Council meeting is at 7 p.m. However, they have a public hearing 15 minutes before, and then there's I think it's a tax abatement meeting that starts at 6:15. So the Muncie City Council meetings tomorrow actually will start at like 6:15. So when you are looking at what's going on in Muncie, I don't know if they're going to start the feed, then stop the feed, then start the feed, because if they don't do that, it will be running for quite some time with just pauses in between. So we will be live streaming it. I'm just letting you know ahead of time. If you come on between 6:15 and 6:45, and then 6:45 and 7, there might be pauses where there's nothing going on. Just chill out. The first meeting starts at 6:15. It won't take very long. The second meeting starts at 6:45. It won't take very long. And then the actual council meeting will start at 7. Then going into Tuesday, the Randolph County commissioners meet Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Is it 9 a.m. or is it 10 a.m., Catherine? When do the Madison County commissioners meet on Tuesday? Can you tell me that? No, sorry. It's not. I'm lying. It's Randolph County on Tuesday. Yeah, that's right. Randolph County is at 9 a.m. Tuesday. That's the council. And then the Madison County commissioners on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Wednesday is the Board of Works at 9 a.m. for Muncie, 11 a.m. for Henry County Commissioner, 11:30 for Muncie Sanitary District, 4:30 for Henry County Council, and then 6 p.m. for the Muncie Board of Ethics Commission. Then Thursday is the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission meeting at 9 a.m. and the Anderson City Council at 6 p.m. So that's what we have meeting-wise going on between the 7th tomorrow and the 10th on Thursday. So keep that in mind. This is going to be a big, big meeting week. Winchester was supposed to meet tomorrow. However, they canceled tomorrow's meeting a couple weeks ago because there's going to be a couple people that won't be in there in time. So the big meeting that everybody's been waiting for Winchester won't actually take place until 6 p.m. on the 21st. So it's not tomorrow. It's not the 14th, but it's the 21st. So we still have a couple weeks, but that will be the big meeting where we will find out what in the hell they're going to do with the fence. So we've got a plan in place for that. So just be aware of what's going on there. There's a couple of big things that we should be happening here in Delaware County with the commissioners meetings and with what's going on in Muncie. I'm still hearing that there is another big party switch coming in Delaware County, that another member of the Delaware County Democratic Party is going to be switching to the Republican Party. I look for that to probably happen this week, but I guess time will tell. But I'm all of the sources that are out there, I'm hearing this from literally everybody. I'm hearing it from everybody. So I guess we'll find out. Yeah, Stumblefoot, that's going to happen. Yeah, it's common. And that post is actually what made me think about, is why I titled this. I feel like people are being algorithmed to ignorance. Like everybody is being led down this dark hole away from common sense and directly into just complete and total confirmation bias. It's crazy. No one can take a second and think, well, maybe I can at least talk to this person on the other side for a moment, and we can have a debate and we can agree to disagree. It is total. If you do not agree with me 100% of the time, we are mortal enemies. And that's totally crazy to me. Like, I wonder if those same people, I wonder if they think, like, when they're talking to their significant other, be it a wife or a husband or whatever, do they think those people agree with them 100% of the time on everything? And it's what is making us as a nation worse. It's not the debates and the arguments. It's the inability to be able to have them. We're not able to even have them anymore. We can't even just have them and walk away. Everybody doesn't. That's the thing. It's okay to walk away mad. And I get mad at a lot of people frequently. And then my thing is, I get mad and I get over it really quickly. And then I'm like, okay, I can now talk about this. And sometimes you need that. You need to have a discussion, get mad, walk away, cool down, think about what happened, and then come back to it. That's right, Cat. You're right, Sarge, on that. You're right. You're right. People can't take. Here. And no, and you know what, Tweety Bird? I will give you 1,000% I give you props for that 1000%. And I like that. Even when we fight and argue and disagree, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So totally, I appreciate that. And okay, so, and then let's look at this, what Jack did here. How do you discuss whether you want drag queens in public schools? I don't have to discuss that. I don't want that. I don't want drag queens in public schools. I don't think drag queens belong in public schools. I am capable of having a discussion about it. I'm capable of saying I don't want that, and I can tell you why I don't want that. And I can listen to someone tell me why they do want it, and we can discuss it. Or I'm even capable of saying, you know what, that's something I might not discuss. Let's not discuss it. But there are all kinds of, that's what people do. Anytime this idea of having the ability to have discussions that you agree and disagree with, everybody goes to the very number one biggest issue, the most shock and awe. And it's like, bam, they hit you. Well, what about this? I'm like, okay, but that's like one topic. That's one topic out of all of these other topics. Out of all of these other sides, of all of these other things that we could talk about. So it's like, let's discuss it and get it out of the way and move on to all of the other, probably some conversations that might be less important than that. Some conversations might be more important than that. It just depends. But we can either discuss it now and move on, or if we can both agree that we probably, there's nowhere we're going to get on that, let's put it to the bottom and move on to other discussions. That's, I guess, where I'm getting at. I'm in 8th place. I better step up. What are you talking about, Stumblefoot? I just want to understand the other side. The other thing is, if politics is going to be such a blood sport, if politics is going to be such a team thing, then one of the things that we're going to have to do, and both sides will have to do this, is try to welcome others to the team. The issue is, because we're human, we're not all going to agree. We shouldn't all agree 100% of the time on all things. That's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So we're going to have to be able to get to a point where we can welcome people into our tent, onto our side, where if there are 10 basic things where maybe we agree on 8 of those and disagree on 2 of them, that's worth welcoming that person into our side. It doesn't make sense to say, well, we agree on 8 of the 10, but because of those 2, hell no, kick them to the other side, because those people probably aren't going to go to the other side and fit in. So, and we've seen this play out over the last couple of weeks when it's come down to the situation with Israel and Iran and America getting involved. There have been all kinds of thoughts on this. There have been all kinds of takes on it, and people who generally are on the same side are now fighting because of it. Same thing with the big, beautiful bill crap. There have been all kinds of people who generally have been on the same side, but because there's parts of this, and that's why you really have to look at it and say, okay, wait a minute. Do we agree more than we disagree? Or we agree on everything, but this one thing we disagree on, so we might as well end this and never talk again, and you're now part of the enemy. That, to me, is being algorithmed to ignorance. Let's see, what's this? Should just be the best candidate wins, regardless of party affiliation. Josh went to jail. I don't understand. I don't know what you mean by that. Am I missing something? Josh went to jail. I don't. Yeah, he's been in jail since December. I don't get what you're saying there. What do you think of Musk's third party idea? I don't have a problem with third parties. I don't know that. I mean, I think that there are plenty of other third parties that are more well established already that you could probably look to that would probably fit the scenario, that might make more sense to inject life into that, but it's still not going to matter. It's going to be, we're still far away from that because people are being algorithmed into insanity. That's the issue there. That's the issue there. I think it's nonsensical. Where at, Kat? I'd like to see the 6 people run for mayor. Or do you mean specifically in Muncie? I forget if you're from Muncie or not. I feel like you talk like you're from Muncie. Well, yeah, really. Anyway, that's what I always say. I would love to see, and see, this is what kills me about the political parties. Political parties will literally say, we don't want to primary anybody. We don't want primary challenges. And I don't understand when that started. I don't truly understand when that started. Because I know when I was coming up, like, there would be 2 or 3 or 4 different candidates running as Republicans for the one position, or there would be 2 or 3 Democrats running, and they would duke it out in the primary. And then after the primary, when the person was chosen to be the Democrat candidate and the Republican candidate, then everybody would then, from those sides, mostly get on board with those candidates, and they would duke it out in November. But it seems like in about 2010 or 2010, 11, 12, that period, they all started saying, we do not want primary challenges. We don't want to have to face that in the primary. And it's absolutely right, Catherine. It is manipulating who wins, and this is the main issue. The main issue with that is people used to buy into it. They would tell them, well, if you don't run now, if you want to run for county clerk, but we've already got somebody running for county clerk. So if you don't run this time and you set this out, we'll allow you to be a precinct committee person when we do that next time. And in a couple of years, we'll get you there. And that's what people would do when they were playing the game and paying the dues. But that's not working for me anymore. And I'm now to the point, and as it should be, as it was in the very beginning, if you want to run and you have the ability to run on that party ticket, you've got to run. But you have to do it knowing that the party's not going to back you. So you have to have a team put it. You can't just wake up in January of 2026 and say, okay, I'm going to file and I'm going to run. If you're going to run in January 2026, you need to be talking about that shit right now. You need to be setting your team up now. Seeing changes in 2026. What do you mean, Megan? What do you mean what happens in January? What do you mean what happens in January? In January, it will be January 2026. The filing period for people who want to run in the midterm elections will be up. The filing Jesus. So 2026, we don't have an election this year. We're in our off year. So the midterm election will be in 2026. So to run in the primary in May 2026, the candidates have to file in the 30-day period between like January 8th and February 7th. Something like that before. That I don't have it. Yeah, let's look here. It'd probably be January 7th through whatever that next February will be. I don't have February yet. I'd have to look it up on my phone. So there's a 30-day period there. They'll be releasing the calendar here soon, probably in the next month or two. Oh my God, you've never voted. Okay. Well, that's not a problem. Are you registered? Are you registered, Megan? Okay, so you've been registered, you've just never voted. That's fine. If you've moved, you probably, what I would recommend is check your registration. Okay, yeah. Well, that sucks. Yeah. Well, that I definitely understand. But yeah, we'll start pushing that soon coming up. We've got some time still, but I'll start pushing that soon. I just hope, and I've been looking and talking to people, we're going to do some things differently in this next election cycle. And hopefully we can make a difference. I'm not supporting any candidate anymore unless it's like a one-off here or there. It's more about just exposing who all of the people are. If there is a better candidate than one of the others, pushing that, but they're all shitful, man. And it's just about holding these people accountable and calling them out and calling out the nonsense. But it's really hard to talk to people when you make a post on Friday, July 4th, and it says, Happy Independence Day, or hope you have a happy 4th. And someone comments down in the comments, there's nothing happy about this day. There's nothing good about where we are currently. And I'm just like, I don't believe the people who are saying that actually fully believe that. I feel like they think they have to say it. They feel like they have to say it. And that's the problem that I want to work on. People all the time say, it doesn't matter what you say, and Jack's one of them. Like, the mayor's not going to listen to you. The mayor's whatever. I don't give a shit if Dan Ridenhour listens to me, or if Broderick listens, or any of these people. No, they're not going to listen. I don't care what those people think. They are of such little consequence. My target is the people that are out there, in there, around there, dealing with it. My target is the people. My target isn't trying to change the elected officials. You might get a couple of them to do things differently. We definitely have. We have changed elected officials' minds on several things over the years. I've been doing this now since 2016. And we've done it a lot of times. But the same reason I don't run for shit anymore. I do more doing this and affect more doing this than if I was a councilman on a council. It would be the same thing as Ryan Webb. I would be one vote against another whole platform of idiots. And if they do mean it, Tweety Bird, that's sad. Because I think it's nuts. Because honestly, number one, the fact that they have the ability to say that is something for them to at least be happy about. You know what I mean? So that's that. Hey, look at this. It's 1:29. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us this evening. We will be back tomorrow with regular broadcasting and programming. We will have a lot going on tomorrow. There are commissioners meetings, as I've stated. Real quick, one more time, the run through just for tomorrow. The run through for tomorrow: Delaware County, Randolph County commissioners meetings at 9 a.m. Delaware County, Randolph County commissioners meetings at 9 a.m. Grant County Commissioners meetings, 10 a.m. Newcastle City Council meeting at 6:30. Muncie City Council starting somewhere between 6:15 and 6:30. The meeting will start at 7 p.m. We will be live streaming the Muncie City Council meeting. We will not be live streaming any of the other commissioners meetings. We'll follow them, but we won't be live streaming them. All of your city government meetings should be live streaming from this point forward. The new law is in effect. It is July 6th going into the 7th. Everyone should be live streaming. If you live in an area in Indiana and your government is not live streaming, get a hold of me immediately. Get a hold of me immediately if they are not live streaming where you are at. You can get a hold of me one of those ways down there below. Please let me know because we need to get that taken care of. We will live stream the meeting tomorrow. We will then be live tomorrow evening after the Muncie City Council meeting. We could be late because you understand the council meetings run over. We'll be here at 9 or whenever is closest to the first half hour after when the meeting ends. So if the meeting ends at 9:15, we'll be live at 9:45. Just keep that in mind and bear with us tomorrow. You guys take care. Have a great evening. Hit that like button on your way out. Smash the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Ring the bell. Do all of that shit. Share the show with everyone you know. Help spread the word. And we'll see you back here tomorrow. Kate is on her way back from Tennessee. They went down there for the 4th of July, so that's why she wasn't here this evening. She is driving back from they should be probably home by now, but she'll be back tomorrow, and we'll see you guys all then. Take care. Good night. God bless. Goodbye.